Hi everybody, Sarah from the Watershed Council here. Our nature spotlight this week is a very special friend that lives in the Woonasquatucket River. We are going to be talking about, any guesses? River herring. So there are two different types of river herring and we have them both right here on our sheet. The first you can see right here, this is an alewife. And then the second one that has a little bit brighter colors is a blueback herring. I have a goose behind me, that's why I'm looking over my shoulder. But this is a blueback herring. So this guy right here and this guy right here are incredibly closely related. So much that we loop them in together as one family of river herring. These guys are so special because they are at the bottom of the food chain. So what that means is that there are so many other types of fish that rely on these guys in order for them to get their source of food. So these guys, these river herring, do something really special, and they actually travel. They start their journey here in the Woonasquatucket River, and then they make their way all the way out to the ocean. So they hang out in the ocean, they eat lots of other fish, maybe some insects, do their thing. But then, eventually they grow up to become an adult fish. And the time comes where they're ready to lay eggs and make babies. They actually will swim all the way back to the Woonasquatucket River, where they were born, in order to have those babies. This is a really special type of behavior. It's called anadromous or diadromous, as it's commonly referred to. And what that means is that these fish are born in rivers, they go out to the oceans to grow, and then when it's time for them to come back and have babies, they actually return right to the Woonasquatucket River. Now, scientists aren't super sure why this happens, but the fish actually come back to the river because they have a really, really large part of their brain called a olfactory nerve. And what that does is that gives them a really good sense of smell. So they can actually smell and feel their way back to the area that they were born in. Now, fish don't have fingers like you and me, but they have something kind of similar right here and right here. It's a little hard to see in my picture, but they have something called a lateral line. And what that lateral line does is it helps them feel the water and feel the composition of the water. So with that super sense of smell and with that lateral line, they make their way back to the river to have their babies. So this is a really important process for our fish friends to make their way back. And an amazing thing that you can do is you can actually count river herring returning to our rivers right now in the springtime. So I'm here at Rising Sun Mills and we are going to check out the fish ladder where our river herring may be. So we're here outside of Rising Sun Mill where we can actually look at river herring entering the river. So here at WRWC we do something called fish counting every year where we make observations in the river of fish coming up and down our fish ladder. So here we can see we're just waiting for fish. And our volunteers will actually sit and wait for 10 minutes just looking in the water, seeing what they can find. If you want to become a volunteer and do fish counting with WRWC, contact information will be at the end of this video. For here you can see the dam. It's like something that would be really hard for fish to travel upstream, right? It's super, super rushing, really difficult. Plus, if I'm a little fish, I'm not going to be able to make it up that river. So what WRWC did actually installed this fish ladder right here. And so this fish ladder makes it really easy for fish to travel upstream. So they'll actually enter in at the bottom and then make their way up. You can open a set of continual steps that help the fish and get them all the way up to the top. You can also see in the fish ladder there's lots of different sections. I'm gonna zoom in right here. So this area right here is rushing a lot less than right here. So many of our fish friends actually travel all the way from the ocean in order to make their way to the Woonasquith Market. So when they need big breaks, they use those spaces to kind of take a pause and breathe. So when we're looking for fish and making observations, the biggest thing we want to do is we want to pay attention to glimpses of silver that we see under the water. Our river herring aren't going to be too big. Remember, they're at the bottom of the food chain, so they tend to be a pretty small fish, so it may be difficult for us to find them.